All right, hello, trigger happy people. Welcome to the first ever full Frontal Nerdity podcast with my very special guest and dear friend, Christopher Durban from the channel Durbania. Hi, Durban.
What is up, Steve? I'm so happy to be here on your first full Frontal Nerdity podcast. That's like super exciting.
Yeah, you almost slipped up there, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. A little Freudian slip there almost just came right out.
I've been doing these podcasts, like my own, film trigger podcast. Done like 3 of those. And I really just enjoy relaxing and not really having to worry about, sticking to a certain subject or a certain topic. And I wanted to bring you on just to talk, man. Let people get to know Durban.
I'm excited about that. This is going to be fun.
So, I guess people did get to see a humanized side of you during your live stream the other day, right?
That was quite the live stream with my laptop working just fine a few days before. And then I, didn't even test it because I figured it's fine. And it died. And it died last minute. I was like a couple of minutes late going live because, I was trying to set it up. And the thing that was the real problem with the live stream is I put the phone, and that's what I was doing it on, in one of those car things. You put it in your car cup holder.
Yeah.
And that's what I was trying to do, but the thing that held the phone was covering the microphone, which is not a problem in your car.
Oh, yeah.
And so when I tried to pull it out, that's where all the problems began. How many times did I drop my phone live during that podcast? Oh, my gosh.
I know that had to be stressful, man, but you handled it like a champ.
Well, thank you. It's funny because, I like going live because I love the live interaction. I like doing things raw and unplugged. But to be honest, when stuff like that happens, it is stressful, and it's a little bit embarrassing because, I always try so hard to, keep things running smooth. And I guess, that's the actor in me. You saw me way back in the high school days with the stage and all that. It's like,
yeah,
there's something about that where it's like the show must go on and I gotta, make it look as good as I can. But, you were good talking to me afterwards. That's the human stuff people want. So it made me feel better.
Well, that's good, man. And people loved it. If the reactions to that stream were very positive.
Yeah. And I was very happy that they were positive because almost out of insecurity I went, are you guys enjoying this crazy, disastrously fun live stream? And the fact that people were responding very positively made me feel so much better.
And I'm sure people who are listening to us know by now, but just in case we got some new listeners who don't know, you and I have known each other for about 20 years.
Isn't that crazy?
It makes us, I forget that I'm even that old. I forget 20 years. I'm not old enough to know somebody 20 years,
yeah,
right?
I know.
No?
That's insane. I don't feel like I'm old enough to have known somebody that long. But then I look at the calendar and I'm like, wow, I graduated high school in 2002. Oh, crap.
I graduated 2001.
Yeah, I know.
So, we went to high school together. So, like you said before, when you used to be in drama and do theater and stuff, I used to love to go to your plays and just watch you do your thing, man. You're so much fun. You're so much fun. You have such a high energy. You can tell that you're very passionate about it, and I always admired you.
Oh, thank you so much.
When it came to that. Well, I can't remember lines.
Yeah.
I love acting, and I've been in short films with friends and stuff, and I can never remember my lines. I go completely blank. That's why even when I do my reviews, I have to have almost a script because I will go blank if I don't have it there. It's so weird.
Yeah, I
can't
get it.
Explain it. So I've always admired you for that, man.
Well, thank you. I've been out of practice for a while. So, I was in a group here on the Central Coast where I live now, and for a short time we were making short films. And in fact, one of our short films was going to be in the San Luis Obispo Short Film Festival this year, which got shut down due to coronavirus. So now it's not going to be in there. But I've realized doing stuff like this, I've been out of practice. I haven't done plays in probably over a decade. And so because I've been out of practice, it's a little bit harder for me now in my 30s to memorize lines than it was for me in my teens and early 20s. And I'm like, oh my gosh, why is this so much harder?
Yeah, well, hey, you found a different niche. You evolved into something different, which is your channel, Durbania.
Yes.
You inspired me to do this, so thank you. Again, major inspiration to me, man.
Well, I appreciate it. I mean, the fact that I could do this channel and inspire people to do things, that's kind of what it's about. So that's huge to hear that inspired you to start your channel, and I'm glad you did. It's been a great way for you and me to reconnect, on top of the fact Film Trigger is just awesome.
It's definitely something. Definitely something. So, man, going back to the high school days, remember that one time I went to one of your, man, I forget, was it Macbeth?
I don't think it was Macbeth, but it was a Shakespeare show. I'm pretty sure it was Twelfth Night. And are you talking about the time you flipped out one of the girls in there by saying the name Macbeth over and over and over again?
Yeah, I was a little shit.
In case you're listening and you don't realize this, there is a huge superstition if you're in plays and in theater. And if you say Macbeth, then you've cursed the theater and you've cursed your performance for that night. And they say bad things tend to happen. And the only way to break that curse is to, like, I forget what it is. I think it's like you spin around 3 times, spit over one of your shoulders, and curse your mother. But it's taken so seriously. And then Steve, like, comes in and comes right up to me and whispers in my ear, Macbeth, Macbeth, Macbeth. So, like, they don't hear it. He goes, now let's see if anything bad happens. Of course, nothing bad happened. But, like, yeah, it was awesome.
Anyway, so yeah, man, good times, brother, good times. And I've really enjoyed reconnecting with you here on in the YouTube verse.
Oh, yes.
And finding a new, just a new culture, something that I can nerd out with, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, and again, your channel was a big inspiration. I didn't even know you could do YouTube as a thing. And I knew that you did yours, but I wasn't really watching it all that much. Like, I didn't YouTube.
Right.
Except for the things that Seth and I did, which were the little Lego videos.
Those are good, by the way. Those are really good.
Cade Pro Films. The precursor to Film Trigger.
Yes.
But Seth was really into you, and because Seth was really into you, I started, well, let me see exactly what his show is. And I'm like, wait, he's talking about stuff I want to talk about. I want to talk about that stuff. And then just one day, 4th of July, 2 4th of Julys ago, Seth and I just turned on my camera and said, let's just talk about movies. And Film Trigger was born.
It was awesome, man. I think I remember watching that very first video, too.
Isn't it weird watching your first videos?
Oh, my gosh.
Like,
I left my first video up just because, like, it's kind of nostalgic to me. You know, it's what started it all. And when I first started, I knew nothing, dude. I didn't know anything about search engine optimization, right? I didn't know anything about that. I didn't know how to set up a studio or do any of that. I just knew what I wanted to do. So somebody at church gave me their old FlipVid camera. You know, those suck. And I used, for lighting, I went out and bought heat lamps. And somebody on a YouTube video said use shower caps to put over top to kind of soften the light. So it all had this horrible, ugly red tint to it. And that first video I did, I remember, was a video defending Man of Steel. So my channel is kind of built on defending Man of Steel, I guess, and finding theological things. So, like, I love the fact that that was my first video. But I like to look back at that because it's like, wow, things have changed a lot since then. And it's just, for me, it's a cool memorial. Like, how much I've learned from now to then. I mean, do you feel that way about your channel when you look back?
Oh, yeah. Well, it actually amazes me because I'll look back on some of the older videos. Like, Seth loves to watch the older videos. The quality is lower, and the way I talk is, you know, I'm just ranting. We didn't have any organization. We didn't have any notes. We just talked and talked and talked. Then, like, I'll take that and then I'll watch the newest video and just kind of compare them and contrast. And I'm like, man, it's amazing how much the quality has come up. But I still sound like an idiot in my head. I'm like,
you know, I experienced the same thing. I look back at my old videos and I look at my new videos and I'm like, wow, technically, quality-wise, everything is fantastic. Why did you say that, Durban? And how could you forget these other 5 things that you meant to say? I mean, you wrote down the notes. How did you not say that? You idiot.
I'll find little clicks or little things that I do. Like, I've learned more about how I talk and my speech and little sounds my mouth makes. I never knew I made that sound before.
Isn't it awful? Isn't it awful?
It's awful. It's terrible.
There are so many sounds my mouth makes that I edit out of videos. It's unreal.
Oh, mine too. Like my biggest thing is like breathing. Sometimes I feel like I breathe too hard.
I hate this weird
like that.
This like this weird spit sound that I make when I'm talking. It drives me up a wall sometimes. And so it's like, oh, shut up.
It's funny because I would never notice that. Nobody will ever notice that.
Like we notice it in ourselves and in our own videos because we're overcritical of ourselves. So like we notice it, but it's not like anybody else is going to.
Well, one new thing that I've noticed that I do, like when I pronounce my C's or my G's, I make this clicking noise. And in doing so, like I'm like, man, that's a new thing. That's really annoying. And now if I watch the older videos, I do it in those too, but I didn't notice it before. But now that I noticed it, I can hear them in all the videos, and at some point in time, you just have to let shit like that go.
Yeah, I know, and it sucks. Cause it's funny because, like you said, nobody else notices it. I mean, they will now because you just pointed it out, and they'll probably notice my thing now because I just pointed it out. We broke the glass on that. But before we broke the glass...
welcome to full frontal nerdity, buddy.
That's right. But before we broke the glass, no one was ever going to notice. That's why perfection is like the enemy. It's so, like, I've driven myself insane trying to be perfect on videos.
I went to college for graphic and design, and one thing that that stuck with me that I learned my very first day there was you will always tweak and change things. At some point in time, you have to just let things go.
Yep.
You have to just be okay with what you have and move on because you will always find something different to change.
Yep.
So that's helped me out in many aspects of my life, and especially with film trigger.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah. I mean, what's funny is like I'm still learning that lesson every day. It's like I know it. It's in my head. It's like I know that truth. Of course. You know, it's obvious.
Yeah.
You know, applying it is another story.
Man, so living in crazy times now, buddy.
Oh my gosh.
Ohio's going on like a stay-at-home thing. Like they're everyone has to stay at home, only go out for emergencies. AKA people are just going to go out whenever they want to.
Yes. Yep. I get that.
And say it's an emergency. I ran out of beer. What they classified liquor stores as one of the like things that are allowed to stay open.
But that's not essential. That's so crazy.
Well, not to you.
That's true. Good point.
How is this affecting you?
Well,
or is it affecting you at all?
It is affecting me a little bit. Thankfully, well, first off, my wife works for the local government here. So her job is deemed essential. So she's still working, and, you know, she has like a VPN set up at home. So should it get to that point, you know, she could work from home. But mostly, you know, her office is fine, everybody's healthy, and her job is deemed essential. For me, I work mostly at home because I do YouTube. I'm a freelance video editor, and actually, I've had more work. So I work at a one-screen movie theater here in town as well, and that got closed. But I'm not suffering any financial loss because of that closing, because my church is closed, and, you know, you can't close church or church dies. So we are doing church online like every other church, which has given me more work as a freelance video editor because they looked at me and said, hey, dude, you're doing this YouTube thing. Could you create that for us? And this was something they'd been wanting to do for a long time, and I've already had meetings with them about it. We brainstormed things. But, you know, budget, and nothing is moving, and then all of a sudden this happens. And that is now fast-tracked because that's all they got. So it's actually kind of cool because in a way I'm not saying the virus is cool. I'm just saying during this time, suddenly I found myself with more work.
You turned this negative into a positive.
Yes, life handed lemons, and now I got a little bit of lemonade.
Yeah, life handed me lemons, so I just added tequila.
Now there you go. There you go. How is this affecting you? I mean, especially with your music.
Yeah, because I'm a musician, and I make money by performing at bars and restaurants, and now they're all closed in Ohio. I mean, I've had offers to perform at speakeasies.
Okay.
You know, if you don't know what that is,
I don't,
it's
so please tell me.
It's like prohibition sort of thing. Hey, we're not allowed here, but we're not going to announce that we're coming here.
Oh, I got you.
Still want entertainment.
See, I was thinking something from the 20s and 30s when you say speakeasy. Now I understand why.
Yeah, well, I mean, and I don't know. I've debated on it, but you know, I don't want to spread this thing around, you know. And so I've been doing, instead, in lieu of that, I've been doing videos online, like live concerts from my studio here.
Yeah, I saw one of those on Facebook.
I set up, you know, a PayPal account, a Venmo account, and a Cash App account that people can add to my virtual tip jar for performing. And it's helping a little bit. That one show filled up my fridge, you know.
Good.
And now I'm trying to figure out a way to run an open mic virtually. And I think I have it figured out, but I'm not gonna say anything until I know for sure.
Yeah,
but yeah,
that's cool.
It's a creative problem needs creative solutions, and this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to find creative solutions to this whole thing.
Yes. I will say that kind of falls in line with something my church is talking about, because when, you know, I went into that first staff meeting to get prepared for the online stream, you know, they're talking about this is going to be a time to find places where we're weak that we could get stronger. And so I'm hoping that for a lot of us, you know, like this could be a time as we're taking this time and we can't go to work, we're stuck in the house, this could be a time to get stronger in other areas of life. And so it's cool because, like, I'm learning a lot more about my camera because I have to shoot in a different environment at my church with totally different lighting. And my camera's keyed in for my studio, so I know how to do that. But now I'm learning how to adjust things on the fly the way I've never done that before. And so, like, it's cool. So places where I've been weaker, suddenly I'm working out those muscles.
That's what we have to do. Keep your mind busy. Stay at home when you can, or go into an area with very little people. And we have to stop. We have to.
Yeah.
If we want this to pass quickly, we have to hold ourselves accountable.
Yeah.
We have to be responsible in this situation. I need to get paid. You know what? I'm good right now. Like, financially speaking, I'll be sweating around mid-May.
Right.
You know, if things don't change. And
which hopefully they will. I'm really hoping they do change, especially by then.
how do you think this is going to affect the movie industry? You know, I mean,
Yeah.
obviously theaters have shut down, and now we have, who was it? Was it Universal that put one of their movies to VOD?
Oh yeah, yeah. This is gonna be so interesting the way this affects Hollywood and movies. Like because honestly, here's what I thought. Once streaming got here and Netflix got here, I thought for sure now things that hit the big screen will be event films. Because to me, like, romantic comedies, they're great, but they're not event films. They're not big screen worthy. Like, I could sit at home and watch that. Why are you going to release that on the big screen? So, like, there's certain types of movies that to me are more stream worthy and more that are more event worthy. I'm curious what's going to come out of this as they are forced to throw things on video on demand and forced to put things out that way just so things can be seen. Like, what are they going to learn through this? But these are unprecedented, I can't even talk, unprecedented times. So, and they released Frozen 2 early on Disney Plus, which I didn't care about,
Yeah.
but, you know.
I still haven't seen the first one.
I was kind of mad that Return of the Jedi. Oh my good gracious. What is this new one called? The Rise of Skywalker.
Return the Jedi's on VOD? Are you serious?
Oh my gosh, who would have thought? But Rise of Skywalker, I'm mad. Okay, cool, it's on VOD. I'm mad it's not on Disney Plus. That one's really close to its Blu-ray release anyway, so I guess I get that.
Oh, Rise of Skywalker?
Yes, I want that. I want to see that again.
Rise of Palpatine?
The Rise of Palpatine.
They spend 3 movies saying, you know, be who you are, discover who you are, don't be anything else, and then she, like, ditches who she is and becomes a Skywalker. It's so stupid.
Well, okay, here's what's stupid to me. So I guess we're drastically shifting, and we'll get back to Hollywood here, but here's what drives me nuts. You watch The Force Awakens, and maybe J.J. Abrams didn't know where he was going to take things, but he set up things. Rey was someone. And you get that from her vision when the lightsaber calls out to her, right? You get the vision. She is a somebody. She is not a nobody. Now, I like the plot in The Last Jedi that anybody could have the Force. It's a cool plot. But what I'm saying is the way Abrams set things up, she was a somebody. There was a deeper mystery here, and then I feel like The Last Jedi took a great big crap all over it simply because it could. And for no other reason. And I was just like, and I don't want to bash Rian Johnson. He's a good director. Very talented guy. But I did not like what the direction he took that because I liked what JJ was setting up. So for me, I get the Rise of Skywalker. Let's take it back to what we set up and let's try to close that properly. So her taking the Skywalker name makes sense to me with The Force Awakens, and her being a Palpatine makes sense to me with The Force Awakens. It's The Last Jedi that is the kink that makes everything all weird to me.
The movie looked good. Like, it had
Yes.
the cinematography was amazing. The color palettes of that last battle are just so beautiful.
Yeah, and there was a lot of stuff. I mean, that last battle with Rey and Kylo and how they teamed up, like, that's amazing. Like, I'll never take that away from that movie. Everything to me with Rey and Luke was just so interesting. Like, I didn't mind the fact that Luke, after being this legend, made a mistake, and now he's disillusioned. Like, to me, that was deep, that was brilliant, and it gave Luke something to do in The Last Jedi. It gave him a place to start and a place to grow to. So things like that were fine. It's just, everything else, Rey's a nobody. And let's just take every Star Wars trope that we have and let's go ahead and subvert it. And there was so much subversion in that movie that I feel like it becomes a joke on itself.
There it is. It's there. Nothing we can do about it now.
So Hollywood learning lessons during this time.
Where can they go now with Star Wars? I feel like The Rise of Skywalker was the end game of Star Wars.
Yes.
It just kind of now the stuff I hear going forward is like, meh, okay.
Yeah.
It's got a very weird, ambient I don't care-ness about it.
Yeah, very much so.
I'm done.
I think it's because we had overexposure. And during our overexposure, we had The Last Jedi that was extremely controversial, immediately followed by Solo, that, in my opinion, is not a bad movie at all. But it is very underwhelming, especially compared to, like, oh my gosh, what was the name of the other middle movie that came out? Oh, I can't remember that now.
Rogue One?
Yeah, Rogue One. Thank you. Like, Rogue One was really good. And I think Solo, in comparison, was very underwhelming. Not that it was bad. If Disney Plus existed, it should have been straight to Disney Plus. That's the quality that was.
Yeah, I've watched it twice, and I cannot remember what it's about.
It's just young.
Like, I can't remember. I don't even know if I finished it. Like, it's a movie that nobody asked for. Nobody wanted that movie, and not just that, but like, it's not Harrison Ford. We're not ready.
No, and we already have a young Han Solo. That was Harrison Ford. He was young. I didn't need to know that his name was Han, but he was the last of his species, so they call him Solo. But how could he be the last of his species when the guy who gave him the name Solo was one of his species?
Well, because Han Duo sounded stupid.
Oh, I guess. Yeah, Han Duo. Okay. But, there's things about that movie that are good and that are fun. And so it's not a bad movie. It's just, it should have been straight to Disney Plus. But Disney Plus didn't exist back then. And I think that was the real problem with that movie. Not that it was bad, but it was underwhelming and it had a lot of production problems. And I think that helped with our Star Wars overexposure. And so I think the thing that's healing us is The Mandalorian. And I think the number one thing about that is it's not a movie. It's not an event that we have to go out and see. This is something now on Disney Plus that we could sit down and watch cute baby Yoda use the Force, and it's awesome.
It was a nice change of pace, especially coming down from that huge Star Wars, series review that I did. It felt more Star Wars than, some of these newer movies. Went back to simplicity, so.
And that's what I like about it, yeah.
But it will probably be, canceled for the next foreseeable future.
Actually, season 2's already done and set to come out in November. Yeah, so they didn't have to worry about canceling production for this because it was done.
Yeah, going back to that, all these productions canceled. I remember the Batman. They're saying, we are not canceling production on the Batman. It's just not going to happen. Well, it's canceled. One of the things that I'm curious about is the movies in production and the actors having other obligations, to shoot other, further different movies with somewhere else that aren't involved with this production. But now this production is on hold. How is that going to affect their schedule? With their new movie? Like, what if, Robert Pattinson has he's scheduled to shoot a different movie in July.
Right, and they don't get picking up on the Batman until June or something. Yeah,
right. But he's now he's in 2 different contracts, and he has a huge debacle. These are the problems that I'm worried about that will postpone movies like the Batman even longer. This is a mess. Dude, it is a mess. It's crazy because, I didn't think about that. I didn't think about other actors' contracts. Yeah.
That, what they're filming now is postponed. And depending on when the world starts spinning again, I mean, what does that do with the contract? So maybe everything is, delayed, so maybe it won't interfere and just everything is going to be delayed. But, you're right.
Well, I mean, the Batman, Warner Brothers. Let's say Pattinson has a movie for Universal that doesn't start filming until fall. Why would Universal change their contract, because of a Warner Brothers thing? They could come down and say, well, no, we're ready to roll. All the crew, they're all scheduled to do these too. You can't just postpone because of an actor. Or change everything just because of an actor. I could see actors losing roles because they have to finish up their production from their previous movies, and they're unable to, be in the role for this future movie. So they might just drop the actor and get a new actor in. That would be the easiest way to handle that situation, rather than keep the actor and have to redesign the entire crew.
Right. And that sucks for the actor, but oh man, it's gonna be a strange world post COVID-19. It's going to be interesting to see how we adapt when the world starts spinning again, especially in Hollywood, like you said. I mean, it's just going to be interesting to see what movies come back to their release dates, how soon they come back to their release dates, and, other things.
Yeah. I mean, and now movie news. I didn't even do it.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't do a drive-by this week because
I was like, what are you going to do a drive-by about?
The only thing I had a drive-by about, the only thing that I could talk about was what was postponed, what was canceled, and this, that, and the other. All, coronavirus related things. And that's why I decided not to do one. And I'm not going to do one until there's actual movie news. It isn't just coronavirus postponed this, coronavirus postponed that. Oh, this is on streaming, that's on streaming. That's not the type of news I like to talk about. And maybe that's irresponsible of me as somebody who likes to talk about entertainment news, but damn it, this is my channel.
Yeah, exactly.
I do what I want. And
yes,
but
I agree.
If I had a huge following at the moment, because right now I have 400 subscribers that I love dearly, but I don't want to bore them with
because what movie news do you have? I mean, it's kind of the same problem I encountered working at my movie theater, because it's like we could have tried to stay open, but number one, the virus, so why?
Right.
And number two, there's nothing coming out anymore.
No, yeah.
There's nothing for theaters to play.
Yeah, nothing. There's nothing. I made the mistake of watching the movie Outbreak last night.
Oh, gosh. I haven't seen that movie since I was a kid, and that movie scared me when I was a kid. I thought that monkey virus was real, and I was scared I was going to get it.
Yeah, well, it's real now.
Yeah.
Well, watching it last night, it really just paralleled, with, how quickly it spread and all this stuff. And what a great movie. It's on Netflix right now, so if you get a chance.
What's funny is my one-screen theater, what we were going to do, and this was before things took the turn that they took, and people were put on lockdown, and before the state of California was put on the shelter-at-home thing. So before it got really bad, we were just brainstorming the idea, since there were no movies coming out, of having a virus week and playing Pandemic and Outbreak and getting permission to play those movies and see who was going to come out. Yeah. And then, the news was changing minute by minute. And so within 5 minutes of brainstorming that, then all of a sudden, the shelter in place comes out, and, first where I live on the Central Coast got the lockdown, and followed by the rest of the state.
Oh boy. Well, instead of doing movie news, I put out one of my Patreon videos. It not one that that was paid for by Patreon. It was one of the ones I had on there free.
Nice.
So, and I don't know, I want to find something else to do, or just do different movie reviews, I guess. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
This has been a blast for me to connect with my subscribers more than I ever have. And I've really enjoyed that aspect of it because, you know, what's interesting is when I had to delete everything off my calendar for the foreseeable future and the different ideas that I had planned, it's like, what am I going to do? So I just immediately put a post out on social media, and I'll say the most heartwarming thing was the huge response. I had a huge response on Facebook. I had a good response on Patreon. I had a huge response on Twitter and on YouTube itself, where I did the post in the community. And more than getting requests for things to watch, it was just heartwarming to see that many of my subscribers respond the way that they did. Like, Durban, we want to see you watch this. We want your review of that. And I was like, oh my gosh. So, like, even more than just my subscribers giving me content, the fact that they were that ready to go to communicate with me and give me ideas, it's like, as a YouTuber, that's awesome. Like, it just makes you feel so good to see your subscribers so invested.
Yeah, I guess I lucked out in my yearly plan that I have here at Film Trigger. You know, as I've said to you before, you know, my plan this year is just to build up content by doing, you know, a review series of older movies, you know, and
yeah.
So that well, the older movies are still there, so I get my content is pretty solid except for the drive-by news.
Yes.
But I don't know.
Yeah, I need to watch your Superman 3 and Superman 4 videos. I haven't watched those yet.
Well,
I need to watch
Superman 4 is not out yet.
Okay.
But Superman 3 is, and you will be surprised with the grade I gave that one. So
I saw you give a thumbs up to it in the thumbnail, but you have told me in other conversations that, you know, you have some childhood nostalgia with that one.
Yes.
I didn't see that one until I was a grown-up.
Yeah, it was the Superman that I grew up with. Like when I watched Superman movies as a child, that was the one that I watched. You know, so
gotcha.
And even
I always watched 1. That was the one I watched the most when I was a child, and then Superman 2, and for some reason I remember Superman 4, which is, I think the only reason I remembered that is because of Nuclear Man. And as a kid, I thought, you know, how cool, Superman's fighting another Superman.
Yeah, that movie.
Man.
Oh my God, I just watched it yesterday or 2 days ago. Holy crap.
Oh man,
that was bad.
It hurts, doesn't it? Because you love Christopher Reeve, and you love what he brings to that role, and then you get that in Superman 4, and it's like, oh, it hurts the heart.
Yeah, you know what I liked best about Superman 3?
What?
Lex Luthor and Lois Lane were not in it. I mean, Lois was for like, you know, 1 minute, but that was it. You know, like.
Yeah, she's like short time beginning and end, nothing else. You know, funny thing, the Lana Lang in Superman 3 plays Martha Kent in Smallville.
Yeah, I say that in my review. Yeah, I knew that.
Oh, well, then I'm not sharing with you anything new.
And same with, what's his name, from Superman 4. He came back to play Lex Luthor instead of Lenny Luthor. He was in 2.5 Men.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, the 2.5 Men guy was Lenny in Superman 4?
Yep.
That's insane. See, I didn't even recognize him in that, and he is probably my least favorite Lex Luthor.
John,
even less so than Eisenberg.
John Cryer is his name.
Because when I saw, and it's probably because I'm seeing John Cryer outside of context, right? I only saw him in Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yeah.
And I did not like him in Crisis on Infinite Earths in the Arrowverse. Well, I just did not like his Lex Luthor.
I had a little something to say about his part in Superman 4, but I'll save that for that review when it posts.
You should.
What was I was going to say something. I lost it. I lost what I was going to talk about. Oh, no. Hey, you watch your mouth talking about my Lex Luthor on this channel, pal. All right?
I said I like John Cryer less than Jesse Eisenberg, which is the highest compliment that I think I've ever given Jesse Eisenberg.
This is a Jesse Eisenberg friendly channel. He is the best Lex Luthor. Fight me in the comments. I will beat you down with facts.
Michael Rosenbaum is to me the quintessential of what Lex Luthor should be. He's the Smallville Lex Luthor, and he is the quintessential of what that character ought to be. And Jesse Eisenberg is the polar opposite of that for me, and it just kills it for me every time.
See, that's the thing when it comes to Man of Steel for me, and or Batman v Superman, is all the complaints about it are just people complaining that it's not what they've already seen. That's what I like about it. That's what I like about it. Yeah. It's not something I've already seen. This is something new and fresh. I've never seen that Lex Luthor before.
Well, it is something new and fresh. For me, my complaints about Batman vs. Superman are, number one, Jesse Eisenberg, because I just did not like his portrayal. Number two, that they killed Superman in the second dang movie.
Yeah.
They didn't even give him a solo film to flesh out his character, to properly deal with the destruction in the first movie, and how does that impact him? Like, I would have loved, like, the destruction doesn't bother me, so that's not what I meant by that. I'm just saying, like, I would have loved to have seen how does something like that affect this Superman.
Right, but that's the thing. I think people have misinterpreted what these movies were going to be. These movies were just to propel us into something greater, but people were too honed up on this process. I do understand the argument that it felt rushed, but
yes.
I guarantee if we would have just let these movies pan out, in like the third or fourth movie, people would have been like, oh.
And you know what? That I totally agree with you on that. And the thing that I think is the perfect evidence of what you're saying is the nightmare vision.
Yes, exactly.
Because watching it for the first time I watched the movie, that confused me so much. I understood what parademons were. I understood what I was looking at, but it was so weird. Like, you didn't see him fall asleep. So it's hard to see that this was a vision that somehow popped into his mind. I was confused, like, how is this vision popping into his mind? Because Bruce Wayne is not a metahuman.
No.
And then he wakes up as if he fell asleep on his desk to the Flash showing up.
Yep.
So I'm like, wait, so was this a vision that came to him? Or did it happen because Flash opened the time-space continuum when he rushed in? And so, like...
Yeah, that's the answer.
Yeah, and I figured that's the answer, but it took me 3 times watching the movie and to really kind of think that out. And I think, had we had gotten... I can't believe we're actually going here. Had we had gotten the Snyder cut, I think
it's
for
inevitable.
Sure, that would have made sense, because everything I've read about it, everything that I read that Snyder was planning to do with that, it would have taken that scene, and not only had it make sense, but it would have actually been pretty brilliant with time travel to have this kind of non-linear thing happening, and then suddenly it makes sense when you get to the next movie. And I'm very disappointed we didn't get that.
Yes, well, not yet. And, yeah, I mean, because Lois Lane was going to die. She was going to get killed, and we were going to get...
And Superman was going to turn the Earth backwards and bring her back to life.
No! Or he could have just kissed, Darkseid and made him forget his plan.
Oh, there you go. Nice little tender kiss, and Darkseid remembers nothing. Yeah, perfect.
Oh, man. Superman and his random convenient powers.
Cellophane S, those parademons.
Oh, dude, yeah. Oh, man. And you have to watch my Superman 3 review, man. I talk about how I mentioned that Richard Lester. I was like, this guy has an obsession with plastic traps.
Yes. He does. Oh my gosh. I haven't watched Superman 3 in a long time, but I think I vaguely remember what you're talking about in Superman 3.
Yeah, because they put him in this, like, plastic bubble for a second. And again, it's just a minor inconvenience.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I remember the plastic bubble now. That took a second. Memory's back. Now, back to our Snyder Cut talk here. I'm very curious what you think about this. Because, let's say we get it on HBO Max, and I really hope we do, and it looks like we're gonna get it. But is it really the Snyder Cut? Because the original vision of this was Justice League was done in 2 parts, and they had to change it and do it in 1 part. So even if we get the Snyder Cut, Steve, do you think we're gonna be truly satisfied?
Maybe. I heard. I think that little teaser picture that Snyder posted where he had the little clacker, or what do they call that thing?
Yes.
Where he mentions further reshoots, so they might actually let him shoot some new scenes. But the bigger issue is is that this is, even though it's the Snyder cut from the movie that he was supposed to put out, it's still not his original vision, because in his original vision, Lois was going to get killed. Warner Brothers said no, and he ended up having to change that. So that dream sequence still would have not have panned out. I mean, they would have fitted in somehow, but it wasn't going to be Lois was going to get killed. And I don't know, maybe he'll reshoot it and make that the storyline again. But this movie's going to end on a cliffhanger.
Right, it has to, because if we want the as close to original version as possible, that's what it has to do.
This movie, if it gets released, is going to make us want more. It's going to end on a cliffhanger, and you just can't do that. I mean, you can, but fuck, we don't want you to. And I say hashtag release the Snyder Vision. I want the full 5-movie arc. I want the whole thing. I want to see Batman die. I want to see Lois die. I want dark, brooding, and I want Superman to end up being hopeful, the hopeful, bright beacon of hope that he is by the end of it. That's when he becomes the Superman that we know and love. We just have to wait for it. We have to invest our time into these movies to get that Superman.
And I'd be willing to. Like, if maybe HBO Max would be like, hey, let's do a DCEU timeline just here. So people that have HBO Max and are invested in it, it'll just be a thing here. I would love for that to happen. So make that happen, DC. It's worth it.
The funny thing is, the people running HBO Max is not Warner Brothers. That's part of the AT&T thing.
Oh, yeah.
So
interesting.
Well, here's the funny part. Is it doesn't matter what Warner Brothers wants. If Warner Brothers says, no, we're never releasing the Snyder Cut, in the contract, the people over at HBO Max have full rights to anything Warner Brothers. And if they say, actually, we're going to do this, whether you like it or not, they can. They can do whatever they want. They don't need Warner Brothers' permission to do this. And that's why people are hoping it goes over there. And I'm pretty sure that's the way it's going. I'm not going to say for sure. I don't know.
Oh, man, they better continue forward with not just the Snyder Cut, but the Snyder Vision, as you said. Hashtag release the Snyder Vision.
That's it.
Ben Affleck, you're a great Batman. Please come back on board for that if it happens.
Yes, please do. I want to finish his arc. And dude, listen, I know I don't know. We're going to be beating a dead horse here if we keep talking about this.
That's fine. Yeah, I know. But, it's a fun horse to beat, isn't it?
That is the quote of the day from Durban. That is a fun horse to beat. I'm gonna tweet that. I'm gonna write that down right now. That is
good. I'm glad you're writing that down.
Horse
nice.
to beat. Besides doing videos, what do you do to occupy your time, man?
Well, my wife just got Animal Crossing on the Nintendo Switch, and I have never sat down and played a game so boring that I am so addicted to. I am utterly addicted to it. And I don't understand why. Because it goes against everything in me. Like, I like Mario games. I like fun games. This game, you literally walk around and you shake trees to see what can come out to collect to build your house or something stupid.
Sounds like Minecraft.
It is a little bit, but like I've never
played Minecraft. I'm not a gamer.
I've never played. I'm not much of a gamer either. I've always been a Nintendo guy though when it comes to my gaming. So like, I love my Mario games. I love Mario Odyssey on the Switch right now. I love my Mario Kart games.
I don't like racing games. I never liked Mario Kart.
Is that because I always beat you when we were in high school?
I don't think did we ever play? I don't remember.
Probably not. Probably not. Because I don't think so.
I was a Tony Hawk guy. I had PlayStation.
Right. And I never played those games.
I like those first-person type of game, like Tony Hawk or like Rainbow Six Vegas. Those are the type of games I like to play. The Arkham games. I love those types of games.
Those Arkham games are amazing, man. Oh, I had a PS3 before it broke, and I loved, especially Arkham City. Like, getting to free roam that city as Batman and beat the snot out of thugs. That is the highlight of the game.
I'll tell you what, I was a huge Arkham gamer when it came to those specific games. But when I played Arkham City, I didn't like it. Like, the game looked cool. Like, the free roam was fun. But there was one aspect of the game, and it was, I need to give it another chance. And Seth keeps telling me to give it another chance. But there was one thing in the game that it just drove me absolutely bonkers. And I'm like, this is stupid. I don't want to play a game where this is what I have to do.
Right.
And that's when you have to take the Batmobile on top of these buildings.
No, I hated that.
Do all this crap to open a door.
Anything involving the Batmobile, I could not drive the Batmobile to save my life. I couldn't. The nuance of it was beyond me.
Yeah, I didn't mind driving. Like, driving it, I can zip to the city in that thing pretty well.
Well, good for you, because I kept ramming into buildings.
Let's ask the real questions here. Why the hell can't you shoot and drive? What is that about? How many games?
Yeah, what is that about?
How many games can you shoot and drive?
Every game that involves a car.
Right.
Like Mario Kart, I could shoot and drive. Are you kidding me?
Right. What is the deal with that? What a weird thing.
It is a weird thing. What on earth?
Here we are, a couple of non-gamers bitching about games.
Well, even non-gamers at least have that game or two that they really can get into. I love those Arkham games. Like, overall, they were really good.
Every single one of them is great, except for Arkham City to me. But I need to give it another chance.
Arkham Knight had the best story. But my favorite thing about Arkham City wasn't so much even the free roaming, which was great. What I loved about Arkham City was how I could play as Nightwing, and you just do those, like, side levels where you fight and you get 4 thugs. And then once you beat them, you go to round 2 and there's, like, 8 thugs. And then round 3, there's, like, 32 thugs. Like, I just had a blast, like, taking out all of my stress of the day on these CPUs as Nightwing. It was awesome.
See, I like the detective mode, personally.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I like games that make me think. Where I have to go figure out a puzzle or do something like this.
I hate puzzles. Like, when I play a game, just let me win. I mean, life is hard. Let me play the game to win. Give me enough of a challenge that I'm excited that I win, but I'm playing the game to win. And so that's why I love the fighting modes on, like, Arkham and stuff. It's awesome.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Seth just plays video games on the easiest mode that he can. Because, like, I'll play a game that I've never played before, and I just, like, somehow just beat a level that I didn't even know how I beat it. I'm like, how did I beat that? And I check it, and it's like, it's on, like, child level.
Yeah.
And Seth is not he's a child, but he's a teenager. Like, he's gonna be 16 here in just a month or so.
He's gonna be 16?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, my son is older than we were when we met.
That hurts my heart.
or just about the same age when we met, yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that is insane. So at his age is around the time you and I met and became friends, and oh my gosh.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you some things, something specific about your channel.
Okay.
What do you want from Durbania?
Really, what I want from Durbania is just to kind of just be this light of positivity on YouTube. And it was one of the things I was thinking, because, like, I want to be honest in my movie opinions, right? If I hate a movie, I want to be able to say I hate that movie. But you watch other YouTube channels, and people just get mean about it. You read the comments, people are just mean about it. And what I wanted on my channel was to be just different about that. So even when I hate a movie, I want to be able to say, yeah, I dislike this movie, but not in this way that, makes you feel bad if you liked it. And a place where you can feel safe with your movie opinion. But for me, the other biggest thing is my faith. Like, I love to be able to share my faith, and I love finding God in movies, and I love being able to share that. And for me, that's a huge part of being able to be a light on YouTube. And so that's what I want out of my channel. So, like, if that even impacts only one person, it's like, okay, then I've done it. That's awesome. I have a goal accomplished.
Yeah, that's... And your channel shines that, man. I can see that, when I watch your videos. Now me, I'm not into the religious part of things, but the way that you do it, the way that you freckle it in there in a very classy manner, you don't try to push it on anybody. You're just sharing your opinion. It does, as somebody who's not somebody of faith, I don't mind. It doesn't bother me. Like, I just enjoy hearing you talk, and you relate it to what's important to you, what makes you feel special.
Yeah.
And I really like the way that you infuse that with your reviews without being preachy about it, and making somebody potentially like me who's not into that uncomfortable. That I'm not uncomfortable when I watch your reviews. So I think you do a great job with that.
Well, thank you, because that's what I wanted to do. Because I worked in Christian radio for about 14 years, and you knew me right when I started working in Christian radio.
Yep.
And so I've done a lot of what I call preaching to the choir. And when I started this channel, I want Christians to feel safe on my channel, and I want Christian nerds to find another Christian nerd to connect with. I want that. But also, I want to be able to talk to people who don't have faith and have them not be weirded out by that. And, maybe see a different view of it that they never saw before. And so that's kind of what I wanted to do. And to hear you say what you say, that's awesome. I'm very glad to hear that, because that is my goal, is to not just talk to Christians only, but to let it be something that whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you believe, you could come here and you could feel the warmth and be entertained by what you're watching.
And that's how it should be with anything, well, within reason, as long as, if you believe in something, that shouldn't be make or break why people like you or dislike you.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't.
Exactly.
It shouldn't be the main focus. Film Trigger is therapy to me in a lot of many different ways. And I'm just wanting to build a culture around other people who feel the same that I do.
Yes.
And look at movies the way that I do as well. And even people that look at movies differently than I do, and they discuss with me. Because we like to discuss movies. We like to talk about them. We like to hear different opinions. We don't need to push my opinion on you, or you push your opinion onto me, and then we get into a big old fight about it. My channel is lighthearted. We're here to have fun and enjoy talking about movies and enjoy discussing them, and just leave all your emotional baggage somewhere else. If you're gonna get angry, make it funny.
Exactly. And that's the weird thing about YouTube, right? Because any YouTuber that starts, they're not starting it just so they can start fights. And by this, I'm referring to movie YouTubers. They're doing it for fun, to talk about movies in a fun way, even when they rant about something they really despise. I don't think anybody's rants are meant to antagonize somebody that liked it, But leave your baggage at the door and just come and have fun, because that's what Steve is trying to do. It's what I'm trying to do. It is therapeutic to be able to sit in front of a camera and just sort of let it out,
Yes. And that's one thing that you and I have always been really, really good at. We look at life differently, but we never argue about it. We never try to force things on each other. We are very genuine with our conversation, and we've been down the rabbit hole, where we've argued about this, that, or the other, but it was a discussion argument, not an argument,
Yeah, we've definitely been down the rabbit hole with a lot of really cool and really deep conversations, religious or otherwise. And I think what's really cool about it is just coming out of it still respecting each other and respecting each other's opinions, which feels like it's something the world has lost, that ability to, disagree respectfully.
I don't think the world has lost it. I just think
the internet has lost it.
It needs to be reminded. It needs examples. It needs people to lead by example in that,
Yeah.
But to close out, Durban, I appreciate you coming on and just relaxing and doing a Film Trigger full Frontal Nerdity podcast, where we just sit down and talk and let the conversation evolve into whatever it wants to evolve to.
And I love it.
Real quick, if you could, let everybody know where they can find you and your content and all that fun stuff.
Well, to find me and my content, I'm here on YouTube. Search Durbania. I am the one and only channel with that name, and I will pop right up. You follow me on Twitter at World of Durbania, and then just search Durbania on Facebook and Instagram, and I'll pop up there as well.
Yeah, but don't search it on Google, because then you'll get butterflies, right?
Actually, I am now ranked above the genus of butterfly. So you will find me right before you find the genus of butterfly called Durbania.
All right. Well, I appreciate everybody listening. Go over, subscribe to Durban's channel, and give him some love because he has a great channel, great content, and really dives deep into movies, and that's what we like here. So, yeah, I don't really have an official way to end these podcasts. So, Durban, thank you so much.
Yep, thank you.
Stay trigger happy, my friends. Peace.